got your quarterback playing the last year of his deal. You got your star wide receiver playing the last year of his deal. Quarterback was an all-pro. The receiver was an all-pro. James, you and TJ both played dependent positions, dependent on the quarterback. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee needs Dak more than Dak needs CeeDee, but who do the Cowboys need more? What deal is more important to get done? Dak Prescott's or CeeDee Lamb? Take the time you need to think before you speak on this one.
It's really crazy for us to even sit here and even have to think about this.
Okay, I'm thinking.
Because if you have an all-pro franchise quarterback and an all-pro franchise receiver, we know who gets paid first or who should get paid first.
Yes, sir.
Right? But in this situation, I have to say CeeDee Lamb. And the main reason why I'm saying CeeDee Lamb is because Dak Prescott is in camp. Dak Prescott is going to play football for the Dallas Cowboys this year with or without a contract. He is going to play football for the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb is not in this building. CeeDee Lamb is letting you know, if I do not have a contract, I am not playing in the Dallas Cowboys uniform this season. So the most important person to get signed right now is CeeDee Lamb because he is not there. Dak Prescott is there. And to be honest with you, I truly believe these conversations between Dak Prescott and the organization are going really, really good and really, really smooth because he has been at everything. He's been saying all the right things, which lets me know, hey, listen, I'm going to get the bag either way, but the conversations with the Dallas Cowboys are cool. CeeDee Lamb, on the other hand, we've seen some funny stuff come out about CeeDee Lamb and the funny stuff Jerry Jones said. The most important person right now to sign right now for the Dallas Cowboys is CeeDee Lamb because he's not there. All the other important positions on your football team is in camp right now, getting better, ready for week 1, except 88. Getting paid, get him in the building, and let him do what he does.
Very well said. Joy Taylor, what do you think? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, what deal more important to get done?
CeeDee Lamb. Who were we talking about yesterday that we said was illegal? It was illegal to. It was CeeDee Lamb, right? Yeah. Well, yeah. Dak, it's illegal.
We're breaking I'll update you, TJ.
We're breaking up laws. It is illegal for CeeDee to be in camp. But Dak is in camp. Dak is practicing. Dak is there. So as far as I'm concerned, I forgot about Dak's deal, honestly. I forgot about his contract situation. This is an update for me. I was assuming that Dak was going to play no matter what because that is what Dak is doing. Now, maybe things are going so smoothly and they're going to pop out with a deal that we didn't expect, but that would certainly be a surprise to me based off the way that this is going. CeeDee is your priority. First of all, CeeDee hasn't been paid yet. This is CeeDee's first big deal. He's up. You knew he was going to be up. He played at the highest level. You drafted him that high, developed him. He's an all-pro. He's the #1 receiver. He's answered every single question that you have. He's essentially of the same statistics as Justin Jefferson, who's the highest paid at his position. It's his turn to get paid. So he's up next. Dak has been paid. Now, James is right. Normally, when you have an all-pro quarterback and an all-pro receiver, your all-pro quarterback is going to get paid first. But there is a lot of nuance to the situation. The fact that it's Dallas, Dak's history in the postseason, the fact that Dak has already been paid, I think all those things are factoring in here. But CeeDee is the most important player, and he's not in camp, so it's obviously a priority.
There it is.
TJ, I actually think Dak Prescott's more important long-term. CeeDee short-term for everything Joy brilliantly said, James brilliantly said. Squeaky wheel, go and get the oil. So CeeDee Lamb's not there. You want to get his deal done if you're thinking short-term. But long-term, Dak's more important to get done because quarterbacks, unfortunately, are always more valuable than receivers. A good quarterback is more valuable than a wide receiver. And I was also thinking about it. If you followed the Cowboys for a long time, Dak Prescott has played with 3 CeeDee Lambs in his 9 years, really 8 years of playing. He played with Dez Bryant, then he played with Amari Cooper, and now he's played with CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb is obviously I would say, a top 5 receiver, top 10 consensus, but most people would say he's top 5, not just looking at the statistics. But CeeDee is more replaceable than Dak Prescott is replaceable. It is hard to find a quarterback that will win you 12 games for 3 consecutive seasons. Only Patrick Mahomes has won more games over the last 3 years than Dak Prescott. So if you are thinking about your team long-term, I think you got to get Dak's deal done first. But like Joy and James have said brilliantly, CeeDee's not there. The argument we had yesterday, TJ, bringing you into is CeeDee could be there. He's choosing not to be there. So you can reward CeeDee for doing what Dak Prescott could also choose to do, but should we make the same mistake? That's what Zeke did. Zeke got paid first because he decided to go to Cabo and Dak went to practice. So the Cowboys have already rewarded bad behavior, if you will, once when they did that with Ezekiel Elliott. Didn't necessarily work out for them. But I think Dak Prescott is a more important deal long-term. Where do you stand on the big picture of it all?
I got to agree with those two and say CeeDee as well. And also, Zach Martin held out last year.
He did.
And they readjusted his deal. What the Cowboys are doing is CeeDee right now, he's irritated.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like the fact that why do I have to wait to get paid? Joy said it perfectly. Dak has already been paid, and we don't count other people's pockets, but I guarantee Dak has already been paid. What about me? And so he's going to sign a contract. He eventually will sign, and he'll be happy about it. But there's going to be some, I'm still pissed off about the way you guys treated me in the back of my mind. That's never going to go away. And Dak Prescott needs CeeDee Lamb just as much as CeeDee Lamb needs that. If CeeDee Lamb isn't there, the Cowboys aren't winning. Dak Prescott won't have 12 wins because of he needs that guy, man-to-man, game on the line, third down, I know who I'm going to. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that peace of mind that when McCarthy calls a play, he gets under center, he sees coverage. I shouldn't go to. I'm going to CeeDee anyway. He doesn't have that liberty that where I can just trust this guy to win, and so I don't understand it. Jerry Jones eventually going to pay CeeDee, and it just makes you wonder, why is it taking so long? Because all you're doing is making CeeDee not like you. And they'll say, oh, you don't see players ever talk bad about Jerry Jones. They want to get paid. That's why they ain't going to talk bad about him. But behind closed doors in that locker room, they talking bad about Jerry Jones.
Joy, James, would y'all pay, because y'all have both said to pay CeeDee first, and a part of your reasoning is he's not there. Is that the majority of your reasoning? If CeeDee and Dak were both in camp on the last year of their deals, would you still suggest pay CeeDee first if they were both there?
No, I'm paying the quarterback. If they're both in camp and they're both there, we know the most valuable position in the National Football League is a quarterback, right? If CeeDee Lamb is out there with Trey Lance, I'm not saying he ain't going to have a good year, but is he going to have an all-pro year? We don't know, right? The play could go down just because of who's throwing the football to him. So if they were both in camp and everybody was there and they talking about we're going to get contracts done, you get the quarterback done first. But in this situation, Dak Prescott is saying, listen here, fellas, either way, I'm getting $60+ million. I already been paid. I'm not tripping. I'm coming to camp. Right? I'm in a red jersey, blue jersey, whatever it is in Dallas. They cannot touch me, so I'm not going to get hurt out here in practice. I'm barely going to play in the preseason, if I do play in the preseason at all. So my risk for injury, it ain't no matter. But my check is big, too, during the regular season. I'm making a lot of money. For CeeDee Lamb, it's not like that. You can come to practice, you can get hurt, all this stuff. I'm not coming to practice till I get my money. If they both were there, it's Dak Prescott, but they're both not. You got to pay CeeDee Lamb.
Let me ask you this, Joy, because you've been covering this sport on daily television long enough to have been covering it when Ezekiel Elliott was in his dilemma. In 2019, Zeke wanted his bread. Dak wanted his bread. They're the same draft class, 2016. Dak's not a first-round pick, so there was no fifth-year option. They paid Zeke first, in large part because Zeke wasn't there. That proved to be an unwise decision. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Would it not also be an unwise decision to pay someone first because they're not there, given that you already made that mistake in 2019? Why would you make that same mistake? Not saying don't pay CeeDee, but don't pay CeeDee first because he's not there, because that's why you paid Zeke first.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's the next thing I was going to get to. The Cowboys always do this nonsense. They're in this position because they did that with Zeke to begin with. They could have paid Dak before Zeke, and they'd have had him on a bargain of a deal. We wouldn't be talking about how much of the salary cap Dak is taking up right now, the percentage of the salary cap. Wouldn't be worried about his extension. This would have been done, and it would have been much more reasonable. And they would have been able to fit and perhaps even bring in some more players, as if they don't have enough with 9 All-Pros everywhere. They would have been able to afford even more. They'd be able to afford CeeDee. They'd be able to afford everything that they need. But they always do this. Dak should have been paid before Zeke, 100%. But they waited on that. They completely gave in on Zeke and paid him all of the money he was asking for. Then they had to pay Dak all of the money he was asking for. They will eventually pay CeeDee all of the money he's asking for. And then if they want to keep Dak, they'll have to pay him all the money they're asking for. So they're just going to have to find this money because of the way that they structured this from the beginning with Zeke. We were talking about yesterday, again, like the why Dallas always does this, right? Like they get some deals with some players that are below market value and they're able to sign those. But with their top players, they fight to the bitter end, and then they're like, all right, here's all the money.
Yeah.
Like, we tried, we fought really hard, and then here's all the money. And now we're overpaying you. And now the contract is going to be looming over our heads for years to come, and we're not going to be able to, or we're going to have to fight down to the wire with CeeDee. This should have all been done. It's not a secret. Are we the only ones that know that CeeDee was going to ask for a contract this year? Does Dallas not have that on the paperwork? I don't know. Is it in a Slack channel somewhere? Somebody's got to be responsible for this. They knew that this was coming up, just like they know and everyone knows. Maybe we should let them know now. Hey, guys, Micah Parsons, he's going to want to get paid next year. That's what's going to happen. Just a little secret, a little tidbit for you. Start budgeting for that. He's going to want to get paid. CeeDee's not in camp. That's hurting the team. That's hurting CeeDee Lamb. That's hurting Dak Prescott. We talk all the time about what it is with the Cowboys. Nothing is everything. Everything is something. You do this with your star players. Why? This is a good situation to have CeeDee Lamb, have drafted him, developed him. He's the number one receiver. He's your number one target. He's the best offensive player that you have. And he's not in camp.
Yeah. And not only that, though, I think, and yes, one of the main reasons is CeeDee Lamb not being in camp. That's why you should pay him, because he's your only all-pro player that's not in camp. But I think we are underestimating, since this holdout and all this stuff, how valuable CeeDee Lamb is. You got to understand, if this was a Brandon Ayuk situation and it's the quarterback or it's Brandon Ayuk and all that, we can be sitting here saying, they'll be okay. Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey, drafted a first rounder in Pearsall, right? Have Jawan Jennings, right? They'll be okay offensively. Make sure whatever you got to do, even if the quarterback is in camp and Brandon Ayuk is not, pay the quarterback. Figure out a way to get that done, because there's a lot of other playmakers. What are the Cowboys going to do? Running back room weak. Receiver room weak, right? Who knows what the offensive line is going to be? Tight end going into his second year. CeeDee's the offense. CeeDee is very, very valuable for them. Dang near almost as valuable as Dak Prescott. Let's not forget, when we seen the best Dak Prescott, who did they bring in there? Amari Cooper, who created separation immediately, and we like, oh, shoot, Dak can throw it. Dak is good because he had a really good receiver to throw to that created separation immediately. That's CeeDee. CeeDee's too valuable to this team on top of him not being there that they got to figure out a way to pay him.
Joy brought up budgeting. TJ, she brought up budgeting for Micah Parsons. Don't you think that to some degree, though, this could be what they're doing? Because you know Micah Parsons is going to be the highest paid defender in the history of the National Football League whenever that deal is up. So if you make CeeDee the highest paid wide receiver, then you make Dak Prescott the highest paid quarterback after you made Trayvon Diggs one of the highest paid cornerbacks and you made Zach Martin one of the highest paid guards. Do you think there's any logic, any reason, any ration to what Jerry Jones is doing? You played a lot of years in the NFL. You played at the wide receiver position with the prolific wide receiver yourself, along with being a prolific wide receiver yourself. Don't you think, is there any ration to it?
Honestly, as you guys were talking, I think Jerry Jones is doing this purposely. I really do. You think about this. He just wants us talking about it all the time. He know he gonna sign CeeDee. He knows he's signing him. He want the Cowboys to be talked about every single day. CeeDee not signed, they're gonna talk about us every day. That's good for the brand. That's what he wants. Because
even if it's bad?
What's bad about it? You pissing CeeDee off? He gonna get paid.
But he's
gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid.
But is that good for football?
It's not good
because this is my thing with the Cowboys always. Of course they're brilliant at branding. Of course we're leading the show with the Cowboys in this drama. Of course we've been talking about it for months.
Good for
we were
football.
talking about Dak. Is this good for football?
No.
CeeDee Lamb is not in training camp.
But when the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in almost 30 years.
Right.
So of course it is. When has it been good for football?
Okay, now we're speaking the same language. Is it brilliant marketing? Yes. You are 100% right about that. Is it good for football? No.
Absolutely.
So what are we doing?
But this is the thing.
What the Cowboys do.
Micah Parsons sees this, and he's like, oh, man, it's going to be me next year. Like, Dak Prescott, the last 4 years, nobody in the National Football League has made more money than Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the highest paid player in the National Football League over the last 4 years. And you speak of Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper got traded in 2018. Before Amari Cooper, they were 3-4. They got Amari Cooper,
That's all I'm
7-2.
Yeah.
Completion percentage with Zach was 62%. What Amari Cooper? 71%.
Trying to tell you.
200 yards a game, 274 yards a game. So that receiver matters for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
It matters so much for him. And I guess we've played together for so many years that the chemistry is there. We'll be okay. But I truly believe Jerry just want us talking about the Cowboys every day, because when it's all said and done, before week 1, 88 is going to be lined up out wider in the slot, and they're going to be rolling.
I can't believe, I don't think Jerry thinking like that. That's stupid, though, bruh. Like, I ain't calling Jerry stupid because, I mean, Jerry pockets is fat, but that's a dumb approach.
A dumb football approach.
You know
Marketing
what I'm saying?
Genius,
So he
but a dumb
can't,
football approach.
why is it a marketing
Because like Joy
genius?
said, like TJ said, we're leading the show with it. And so long as we're leading the show with it, the Cowboys are getting the most exposure, which means Jerry's getting the most money. So from a marketing perspective, it's brilliant.
What were they
But
just
from a
valued
football
at the other day?
perspective,
What they?
I saw 9.3 billion.
Okay, that's why. That's why.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.